Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing a shark deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an insanely powerful XZ deck that just got some insane support out of Duels from the Deep, taking this deck to a whole new level. I've been playing this deck a lot recently and have some insane tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the new Abyss Shark. Abyss Shark is a really insane 3-of in the deck because it has the ability that if this card is used for an XZ summon of a number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or a 4, which makes it super easy to make some extremely powerful cards in this deck. And if all monsters you control are water monsters, a minimum 1, then you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, you get to add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except for water monsters. Also, you double the battle damage, the first battle damage inflicted to your opponent this turn by your number monster battling another monster. And you can only use this effect of this card once per turn. This card is absolutely insane. Just being able to special summon itself to your side of the field, be able to use as a 3, 4, 5 to be able to make an XZ monster, and also searching out additional monsters from the deck, which is absolutely insane. And even doing double battle damage with cards like your 101, which is really, really insane. I then play just a single copy of Crystal Shark. Crystal Shark is a good 1-of in the deck. I have considered bumping it up to 2 or 3, but 1 has worked really well for me, with the ability that if this card is used for the XZ summon of a number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 4 monster. And if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target a water monster on the field and then special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you do, half that monster's attack. Also, you can't special monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn, except XZ monsters, which is totally fine because we pretty much only play XZ monsters in the extra deck. I'm then playing 3 copies of the best normal summon in the entire deck, which is 3 copies of Buzzsaw Shark. Buzzsaw Shark is absolutely an insane card, with the ability to target a water monster that you control, which can be itself to special summon from your deck into position a fish monster with the same level as that monster, but with a different name. And if you do, it cannot activate its effects this turn, and also you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn except XZ monsters. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, and if you're going to use this card for the XZ summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a 3, 4, or 5, which is really, really cool. We then play a single copy of Lantern Shark. I just play a single copy of Lantern Shark just in case I need to special summon out a fish monster from my hand, and it's a really good card to actually summon off the copy of Buzz Shark, which is really nice, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can activate this effect to special summon out a level 3, 4, 5 water monster from your hand in defense position, except another copy of this card. And this card also has the effect, just like your copy of Buzzsaw and Abyss Shark, that you can count this card as a level 3, 4, or 5 when you're XZ summoning a water monster. I've then played 3 copies of Batunaful Princess. Batunaful Princess is also a great normal summon in the deck, because you can normal, or when this card is normal or special summon, you can banish this card to special summon out a level 4 lower fish type monster from your deck, which is always going to be your copy of Buzzsaw Shark that you're going to be summoning from the deck to be able to use its effect to target itself, and then special summon out an additional level 4 fish monster from the deck to be able to go in for some really good plays. I then play a single copy of Lifeless Leaf Fish. This card is a really good 1 of the deck because it's basically a walking foolish barrel that when it's summoned, you can send a fish monster from your deck to the graveyard, like a copy of your Crystal Shark that doesn't actually mind being in the graveyard. It also has the ability you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target 3 fish monsters in your grave, shuffle those monsters into the deck, and then you get to draw a card, which is really good that this card also works like a Pot of Avarice. I then play 3 copies of Silent Angler. Silent Angler is a really awesome 3-of that if you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you can't special summon monsters from your hand for the rest of the turn, which is the only downside to this card, which is why I play it as a 3-of in the deck, and you're always going to summon this card last from your hand, which is extremely important because you're going to lock yourself out of special summoning any more monsters from your hand. I then play just 2 copies of Silent Sea Nettle. Silent Sea Nettle is a great 2-of in the deck, and if you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but it does lock you into summoning water monsters for the rest of the turn. But it also works like a Pot of Avarice, like your copy of Lifeless Leaf Fish, that you can manage this card from your graveyard and then target 3 water monsters in your grave and shuffle them into the deck, but you don't get the extra draw. I then play a single copy of Right Hand Shark. Right Hand Shark is just in case we want to make Crooked Cook in the deck, because it helps out to be able to throw it in defense position, to be able to draw additional cards with this card, because you can normal summon the copy of Buzzsaw, use its effect, special summon out Right Hand Shark, and then make your copy of your Crooked Cook, which is really nice later on in the game, which is just a really good effect. But if you can get this card out on your side of the field with any of your monsters' effects, it's just really nice to be able to make this card and go in for plays. I then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a great 3-of in the deck to be able to stop the opponent from touching the deck, so this card is a definite 3-of in this build. And then I play 3 copies of Effect Veiler as well. Effect Veiler is just a great 3-of to stop the opponent's monster effects. This card is a great 3-of hand trap to be able to play. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster is a great 1-of in the deck to be able to just completely board wipe your opponent's back row so you can go in for all sorts of insane XZ plays. I'm then playing a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is a really good card to get the exact monster you want in the graveyard when you want it. A single copy of 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is a great card to get Batoonful Princess on your side of the field as quickly as possible, so you can go for your copy of Buzzsaw Shark. 1 copy of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is a really good 1-of in the deck to be able to stop your opponent from hand trapping you. 1 copy of Instant Fusion and 2 copies of Ready Fusion. This is going to be used in the deck to be able to always summon out your copy of Rare Fish, just to give you an additional level 4 on the field to make an XZ play, which is really nice. You're going to want to start with this card to be able to make sure that you can summon out that fusion monster from your X deck, but it's super easy to be able to use in this deck. I then play 3 copies of White Mirror. White Mirror is an insanely powerful card. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck. If you find yourself breaking with 3 copies of this card, which I have not found myself breaking with this card, you can change it out for a single copy of Monster Reborn over the copy of White Mirror. But the reason I don't play Monster Reborn in the deck is because this card has an insanely powerful bonus effect that lets you target a level 4 lore fish monster in the graveyard and special summon it to your field. And then you get to add a monster from your deck to your hand with this same original name as that special summon monster, which is absolutely crazy because if I special summon a Buzzsaw from the graveyard, I can then search a Buzzsaw from the deck, which is really good. But you can change this card out for a single copy of Monster Reborn over the 3rd copy of this card, playing 2 copies of White Mirror and a single copy of Monster Reborn if you guys want to go that route. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence brings the hand trap count in this deck up to 9, which is really cool for this deck because it has the ability to target a face of monster opponent controls and negate its effect. And if you don't control a card on your side of the field, you can activate this card directly from your hand. And it also helps to lock down columns if you set this card to your side of the field and then activate it in the same column as a spell or trap card. It will lock down that column for spells and traps, which is really cool. I then play 3 copies of Goes and Match because it works really well with our number 4 to be able to lock down the field, which is just absolutely insane. So this card is a definite 3-of in the build because it has the ability each player can only control 1 attribute of a monster, and you send all other face-up monsters on the field that they control to the graveyard, so you only control 1 attribute, which is really cool for this card to be able to do because your copy of number 4 will turn everything into water. So if your opponent's not playing water, they can't summon after they summon their first monster, which is really cool. Kind of works like Zombie World and Rivalry of Warlords. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of number 101, which we do have in the Ghost Rare, which is really, really cool. So definitely give us a like for the Ghost Rare. But this card is really cool because it basically has the ability to detach two materials, target a special summon monster that your opponent controls, in face-up attack position, and attach it to this card as a material, which is a crazy powerful effect that this card basically works like a relinquish for special summon monsters. We then play two copies of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is in here because you can detach a material from it, and then special summon out your copies of Totally Awesome, which is a totally awesome monster to be able to summon from the deck because it's a walking negate that has the ability that once per turn, during this demo phase, you can detach a material in this card and then special summon a frog monster from the deck, and then also once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or monster effect, you can send an aqua monster from your hand or face in your field to the graveyard, which is always going to be itself, to negate the activation if you destroy that card, and then set it to your field, being able to take the card that you negate, which is really awesome. I then play a single copy of number 4. Number 4 is absolutely insane. This card is really good to combo with your copy of Gozen Match because this card will turn everything into water, and then this says you can only have one attribute on the field, being able to make it so that your opponent's not playing water, they can't summon any monsters, which is really cool because it has the ability to all face-up monsters on the field become water, and then once per turn during the main phase, it has the ability to quick effect destroy one water monster that your opponent controls, which is already turning them into water monsters so it can pop a card on the field. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of that monster on the field. And if this XZ7 card is destroyed, then you can special summon out two copies of Stealth Spawn from your extra deck up to the number of materials that this card had when it was destroyed, which is basically going to be the two copies of Stealth Spawn that you're going to be summoning all the time, and then you attach a material to each one of them. You're playing these in the deck because you can summon them off the copy of number 4, super easy, which is why we're playing the two copies of Stealth Spawn, just to be able to replace the copy of number 4, just in case it gets destroyed. I then play a single copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller basically locks down the graveyard, but it also gives our water monsters an additional 500 attack point boost, which is really nice. Then play a single copy of number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark, which is a really good card to be able to make with your copy of Abyss Shark because it has a really good effect that when any player's monster declares an attack, including itself, you can detach a material from this card, and then all monsters that your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack points, which comes in extremely handy with the other effect of our copy of Abyss Shark doing additional double damage with the first number monster that attacks, which this card will be able to drop your opponent's monster's attack points down by 1,000 and then go in for a 2,600 attack point double damage attack. Then play a single copy of Crooked Cook just in case we want to throw it in defense position with Right Hand Shark attached to it as a material. So it's basically completely invincible, which is absolutely insane to be able to use this card. And the only way that your opponent's really going to get out this card is with a kaiju. So this card is extremely hard to out. One copy of F-Zero. F-Zero is super easy to make so that we can make our copy of Utopic Drac of Future. This card is usually going to be made with our copy of Bahamut Shark or two of our copies of Stealth Spawn, which is really good in the deck to be able to make, because this card actually has the ability that once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card and then negate the activation. And if you do, then you gain control of that monster, which is really awesome. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus, just in case we need to board wipe the field. And then finally, a single copy of Rare Fish for the copy of Instant Fusion Ready Fusion to be able to get us an additional level 4 on the field. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a super fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Shark, you definitely should, because it's just a really crazy fun deck to be able to play with. Being able to summon out all sorts of really powerful XZ monsters and be able to summon out all sorts of really powerful water monsters. This deck is just really fun. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.